Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is where you are at. It is super good to be here. I hope you're happy to be here. I have taken some time off, not from working. I've done some work. Don't worry about it. It's taking its time. So, let's see. Let's get this all hooked up here real quick. All right, there we go. 2 people watching. Let's see who's online. Hey, Diablo girl. Nice to see you. All right. I have been super busy. I haven't stopped working. I've done some work, and I have finished the rocks, at least this phase. I'll probably go in one more time to do a layer of shadow and a layer of highlight, but I'm moving away from rocks. I've actually started working on the rails here, and that's going fine. And I am learning quickly that this painting is a lesson in painting straight lines. It's been a challenge, and thank you. Hey, this was a pain. Everybody's back. The gang's back together. Nice to see you too. So a lot of work going on with this. I've also gone out and I've taken, I spent a day with my camera taking a bunch of pictures. I'm not there yet. I'm still waiting for pictures to be processed and sent to me, because I like to get them nice and big like this. So I don't just send them out to my local store. I send them out somewhere else. And while I'm waiting for those, I'm kind of preparing for those as well. So I've also started making some canvases. So here's the size that we're talking about. It's a nice big canvas. So we're talking 24 by 30. 24 by 30 is what I decided on. So I literally just gessoed this this morning. I just have one layer of gesso on, but you see it's nice and flat. It's got a nice sound to it. It's nice and taut. So I'll show you the back of this. I'll show you the back of this. So I make these myself, and I make them out of wood and glue. And that's it. That's all that I use. I don't use nails. I don't use anything else. I just use wood. I use glue. All that you need is the wood, the glue, and some. I use some clamps to hold them straight and make sure that they're nice and square. Other than that, you'll see that. Let me see if I can get you a shot of this. Let me go this way, maybe. So you'll see that the canvas is raised up, right? So what I've got here, hopefully that you can see it. Yeah, you can see. You should be able to see it. So the canvas is raised up. I've got about I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch or so of space between the actual brace here and the top of the canvas. So what I do is I take a piece of, they call it coping, and I glue that to the brace itself, so that will lift up the canvas. You don't want to have a thick piece of board up against the edge of the canvas. You want to lift it up. So the only thing that's touching the canvas is the very, 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 very edge of this, and after that it just goes straight down and it's nice and flat. So there's my new canvas. I've got one other that I need to start gessoing, but the plan is to make a whole bunch. I bought a ton of canvas, a big roll, and I'm excited to get going. So let's see. That's big, yeah, 24 by 30. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I figured it was generally a standard size, 24 by 36, 24. I like that it's not quite a rectangle, but it's not quite a square. I don't know, it's a nice size. So yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of big ones, same size. So what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm so happy to be here. I haven't painted in a few days, so I know I've been neglecting a little bit, but I've come along. Let me see if I can zoom in here so you can see kind of what I've done. Zoom in. Move this down a little bit. Nope. Move that up a little bit. Sorry. There we go. So you can see the work that I've done. Hopefully you can see it. I'll even zoom in a little bit more. Maybe move this over a little bit too. So you can kind of see the. I really like this section here, right in here. You get a little bit of glare on it. Let me see if I can get that glare off. So I really like that section there. It's got some nice shadows going on, and you can see that I've started painting this highlight line here. This should be all dry now. I started painting this highlight line in the very corner of that rail here. Now I'm going to paint there's a shadow underneath that line that I'm going to paint, and I'm just going to kind of keep moving down. I'll move down to the next rail if I have time. Actually, I've got to paint this section. Where is it? I've got to paint this section right in here. Right in here is there's some detail work in there that I want to do. So that's probably what I'll get to today. We'll see how it goes. Move that back down, zoom back out to my level here. All right. No, I don't want to move down more than that. That's fine. Good enough. So the rocks are rocking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was not easy at all. And quite honestly, it's just a lot of dots. It's just a lot of, we talked about it the last time I was here, the artist, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I know one of you knows his name with the dots. It's really all that it is. But the trick is that I had to really focus on the rocks being the right color, being having a little bit of texture. When you look at it closely, it starts to lose its rockiness, but when you look at it from a distance, it really does feel the way that it should. And that's, I don't need it to be perfect. That would take me too long. I don't have the time and the energy for that. Anyways, let's get on to painting. So I just cleaned this off, kind of. Didn't quite finish cleaning it off. So I'm going to do that real quick. A little turpentine on my glass, and hopefully that will work. This has been sitting a little bit dormant, like I said, for a couple of days, so it's a bit of a mess, but it should clean up okay. I might not worry too much about it. As long as it's close. Get this out of my way. I've got to clean this whole palette. I keep this in a palette, this little bin here, and it has a cover for it, but I don't use the cover because it doesn't. I thought the purpose of the cover would be to keep my paints from drying out, but it really doesn't keep my paints from drying out. So the only way to do that is to have to pour a little bit of this on there. The only way to keep my paints from drying out, I found, is using plastic wrap, saran wrap, whatever you call it. That piece doesn't want to come up. Sorry, I know this is really exciting watching me clean my palette, but housekeeping needs to be done sometimes, right? We all have it. All got laundry to wash, right? All right, that's better. I can live with that for now. Put that back over there. I'll clean it out another day. We're all artists here. We can handle it. All right, so I don't need that many colors, I don't think. I think I need some white and black. what I'm working on is fairly small, but I want to have enough to mix. So there's my white. Titanium white. Ooh la la. There's my ivory black. So, little story. Was it Seurat? George Seurat? No, not Monet. It's kind of dots. We were talking about him. I can't remember. The guy with the dots, where he's got all the dots right next to each other, you know, and it's like mixing colors with dots. I can't remember his name. Anyways, it's not important. So, story. I went to my local art store to buy canvas the other week, and I got it home, and I was getting ready to put canvases together, and I discovered that the canvas was already primed. I bought a big roll. It was very expensive, and I was like bummed because I don't know if I need this one. I'm gonna hold off on that color. I think I need this one though. It's burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw umber. So it was already primed, and that is not good for stretching. You need raw canvas, unprimed canvas to stretch, because primed canvas doesn't really stretch, and it comes out being very loose. Cadmium red. So I brought it back, and they didn't have any rolls, so they actually had to cut the canvas for me. And I've always bought rolls before. I just find it more convenient. So this was the first time I've had them cut it for me. Cadmium yellow. And I think that's it. The red and the yellow are just because there's some rustiness in some of these colors. So if I get to it, I'm going to, I'll do that. Seurat, yeah, that's what George Seurat. He's the pointillism guy. Open this up so I can get started here. So I brought the canvas back, and I was very surprised at how inexpensive the raw canvas was buying it like that. I was a little bit nervous because I never bought it like that. I'm like, oh, this is too fancy for me. But I bought it, and it was like $6 a yard, something like that. It was very inexpensive. I was a little surprised. So I bought 10 yards, and that'll make me 20 canvases that size. So, and of course I put this where I shouldn't, and it fell. So I'll put it where I shouldn't. All right, so we're gonna move down to down here, and I'll zoom in for you maybe if I can. I don't know which way is the best way to do this. I'll just leave it out. You don't want to watch. I mean, I don't know what you want to watch. It's what it is. But I'm going to be painting basically a dark line right under here, so I don't need a lot of paint. It's a really thin line. So, but anyways, let me mix something up. I'm going to go with I'll go with a little burnt, a little raw, burnt, a little raw, touch of black, touch of white. And it really doesn't matter too much with, it's so dark you can't really see. I always put a little bit of color into it because nothing should be pure black, even though it's just a shadow that I'm making. I want to make sure that it's I can add some black to that. I want to make sure it looks lifelike. And so you add other colors, you mix colors together, you know. Very rarely situations where a color is exactly what you want it to be right out of the tube. That's probably good. I'll go with that. Get a nice glop of it there. Let me wipe this off now. So I won't need it for a little bit. So, here we go. Let's get my brush clean. This is my 00. 00, is this a short one? Yeah, 00 miniature brush. It's a tiny brush. So you can see it's a very, very tiny brush. This is not going to be fun to watch, so feel free to chat. Yeah, always mix your blacks. Yeah. There are a few situations where I'll hit something with a pure black, but very, very rarely. I'm going to switch to my magnifying glasses, and I'm going to put this light on too so I can see better. Hopefully that doesn't... Oh, is that not on there? Oh, my light just blew out, I think. It did. I'm going to leave it off. My light blew out. I'll have to change it. You can see enough. Like I said, this is going to be super dull to watch. I gotta figure out where I want this though. I'm gonna up a little higher. I can't see with my glasses on anything except what's up close, so you're gonna get to see me look awfully strange. Okay. So one thing I've learned is that I've got to make sure that this is either here or here. Never put it on here, because I've had a couple of situations recently where it slipped off and I made a big mess. And I don't like cleaning up messes. So, all right. One thing I've noticed, boy, I can't get close enough to this. One thing I've noticed is I tend to make some... Okay. I find that if I hold my breath, I can paint straighter lines. And I understand if you're bored and you're like, why am I watching this guy paint this line? Yeah, like eyeballs, the blackness in the eye. Yep. If you want it to look super deep. So I can't really, I'm having a hard time. Let me move this down a little bit. I'm having a hard time seeing my brush because I've got a dark color on a dark area and I really can't see what I'm doing. Maybe this will help. So now I can look down on my brush a little bit. And so now at least I can see when it hits the canvas. Of course, this isn't canvas, this is a board that I'm painting on. Not canvas. I may have to go get another light bulb. I apologize. That light went out as soon as I turned it on. I'll try one more time. Half of it works, but there's 2 light bulbs in here. I've had this light since I was in art school. So this light is like, God, I'm getting old. This light is like 30 years old. Something like that. All right, I apologize. I'm gonna run upstairs and grab another light bulb and see if that fixes the situation. So, intermission. All right, intermission's over. Let's see, I got two different light bulbs. I got an LED and a halogen light bulb. I'm going to try the LED first. I've never actually used an LED in this light, so I don't exactly know if it's going to work or not. But I'll give it a shot, and I also don't know what color this light is going to cast. Uh-oh, it might be a different situation. We might have a broken light, which would suck. This light is so good. Let's try the other one. All right, so the LED does not work. Of course, this light was made before LED lights even existed. So let's try that out. Okay, it does. It's just the LED. All right, now let there be light. Yay! I couldn't see what I was doing. My desk is getting, not my desk, my workstation is getting a mess over here. All right. Yeah, light is 30, I'm 30. That's funny. So I got this light when you were about 7 years old. Isn't that nice? Doing something that you like means sacrifice. I'm not ready to destroy my back. Yeah, yeah. No pure white in portraits. Yep. Every once in a while, I'll use a pure white on a highlight. All right, let me get this loosened up a little bit here. It's important that I kind of roll this around, get a nice tip. And where's my maul stick? All right, now I can see. Thank goodness. Now comes the real boredom. So I struggle with what level of detail do I want versus what level of detail is acceptable and time efficient, you know. I'm going to tell you something else that's funny. I've noticed as I'm doing these lines, these horizontal lines, I tilt my head to the side like that. So as I'm doing it, it's a really bizarre thing that I'm doing. So Every time I go to draw a horizontal line, I tend to tilt my head before I paint. Move that over there. Yeah, I tend to hold my breath. These lines are, I don't know why it's important for me to get these lines so straight, but it is, and I'm actually not that satisfied with them. I would like them to be straighter. But I gotta keep moving. And I gotta think about how I'm going to continue this channel in terms of, you know, my new paintings, and not that I want to be secretive. I want it to be, my wife was picking on me because I won't tell her what I'm painting either. She has a general idea, but I haven't shown her any of the pictures. I want there to be a genuine first impression. And I don't believe I can have that if I show people too much ahead of time. So I'm struggling with that concept. I watch people show their stuff on, you know, on different platforms all the time, and I have enjoyed doing that as well with all of you. It's motivating for some reason for me. At the same time, there is I don't know. There's a cheapness to it, you know. Bringing it into social media gives it the social media vibe, if you will. You know, it's I don't want it to be social media. I want it to be serious art. And I can't take social media seriously. So that's my struggle right now. I hope you're alright with the camera that I'm using. I feel like if I tried to do a close-up, I'd be in the middle of it half the time, so. So who's getting snow this weekend? Reports are saying we, in my area, could get a couple feet of snow. I already have a couple inches of snow from the other night. But they're talking about some serious weather problems in the U.S. right now, coming up over the weekend. People down south, they can't handle the snowy weather. They don't have the equipment to deal with it. So when it snows further south of here, people go a little crazy. They start buying everything from the stores. Here it's not so bad. You know, they treat the roads regularly. So I'm not too worried about it. But I will go out this evening, do some grocery shopping hopefully before the crowd gets there. I'm just barely touching this painting. Barely touching it. Very thin lines. Yeesh. My stick moved. It's stuck under snow for a while right now. It's just insanely cold. Yeah, 13 degrees. Yeah, it's going to get cold here tonight. It's going to start getting colder. Tonight it's going to get down to 9 Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that's minus something in Celsius. So it's cold. And then it's going to get down to close to 0 later this week. And I'm talking Fahrenheit, so that's even colder, quite a bit colder. And it's going to stay cold for a long time. That's what they're saying. And Diablo Girl, I don't know if you're, not Diablo Girl, I'm sorry. This was a pain, I don't know if you're still here. This was a pain has been posting up some fun designs, I don't know if you call it graphic or, I mean it's geometric patterns, circular patterns. I've been enjoying those. Thank you for sharing. Alright, before I move on, I want to add a little more paint in some spots. I'm going to blend that out a little bit on one side. Just a little more paint here and there. Actually, I think I was going to get some more paint, but I think I'm just going to start blending it out from here. Alright, let me do this part first. And I'm just going to use the same brush and just kind of... I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to clean it off first. That was a little bit too much stuff right there. All right. Just going back and forth over the bottom edge of that line because I want the top to stay crisp and I want the bottom to be blended out. I'm just kind of going back and forth, moving that paint until it blends out nicely. This is also a practice in patience, not just lines. There's a couple of pieces that I'm excited to paint. A couple of the photographs that I've gotten, but I'm a little worried about how repetitive some of it is, because that challenges my patience quite a bit. It's interesting, each one of these rails is a bit of a different color. That's why I'm not doing them all at the same time. They really are different things. I don't really like not doing things at the same time. I prefer to work on the whole painting at once. But I think in some situations I have to kind of jump around a little bit. That looks pretty good. Back up and take a look with my other glasses here, if I can find them. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm happy with that so far. There's still a lot of work to do on these. I'm looking right now. Each one of these railroad ties has detail work that I'm going to have to get into eventually. So I think here's what I'm going to do. I've made a decision. I'm continuing right now, but here's what I'm going to do going forward. Every Friday I'm going to be here. That's going to be my schedule. Every Friday at noon, I'm going to come on and paint for an hour. And that's going to be my time with you. And I'm going to work on this painting. And that's all that I'm going to do. And that's the only time I'm going to work on this painting. The other times, I'm going to work on my new paintings the rest of the week. And I'm not going to share that right off the bat, but I will share it with you and only the people here. If you show up, I'm going to delete I'm not going to save the video for those. But every once in a while I'll share a new one. I'll surprise you guys. And but Fridays is going to be my time. All right, let me get some more, a couple more colors on here. Well, jeez, my time is running thin. Let me get, there's a spot, the rail actually splits right there, so I want to get a little bit of darken that spot there. Take a peek at what that looks like. So, switch my glasses. And it's right in the middle of this. It's not bad. All right. I'm going to stick with this color, and I'm going to get some of these shadows in here, because instead of, I don't have a lot of time, so instead of messing around with new colors that I'm not quite ready for, they're not really new colors, they're just the same colors over and over again, aren't they? That's all they are. All right, I'm going to paint this tiny little line here. Awesome Sauce. There was a commercial years ago where a character in the commercial said awesome sauce. I thought that was one of the best little sayings I've ever heard. I love that saying, awesome sauce. If this comes out good, I'll zoom in on it later so you can see it. See what I've done. See what I done did. Right. Alright, so that looks pretty good there, I think. Alright, let me get a couple of these there's little bolts in here. Get those kind of mapped out a little bit. I feel like I could paint these little bolts all day. These are fun little pieces here. I know, I'm a little crazy. But I'm really enjoying that. Alright, let me get this. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a different color here. I got to add some detail to that. Alright, let's see here. So we're talking kind of a rusty color. So I'm going to take, yeah, I'll do it with this. Yellow ochre, tiny bit of yellow, tiny bit of red. Some burnt sienna. A little white. Too much white. All right. I need the tiniest bit, but it's important to get the color right for this. This is important for me. I need more of this. Methinks. Alright, that's probably good. I don't want to do too much there. I want to keep moving, dude, so you can see it. So only got a couple minutes left, dude. Alright. Start with this. Where am I? little bit of this to it. All right, almost done. One little bit to do. This is the kind of thing this is why I paint. To do little things like this. This is like the gold for me. And a little bit of dark again. Tiny amount. Hopefully that's okay. All right. A little too much. It's okay. All right, that's fun. I think the color's off on some of it though, but I still like it. So we'll see. We'll see if I change it or not. All right, let me zoom in so I can show you. And then I'll let you go for today. You can go do what you do. Let me get this camera where I want it to be. Push that up. It's really, there we go. Let me get rid of this. Can you see it better? Hold on, I know. I'm just turning this a little bit so you can see it without the glare. So, I know I'm not there yet. I know. Hold on. All right. All right, I'm going to zoom into it in a second. All right. So here's the other angle here. So I'll do this first. I'll put it here, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you can kind of see the whole thing a little bit, hopefully. All right, so you can see the shadow that I put underneath that rail right there. And then as we get over to here, this is a little bit of detail work that I did. So you've got here, right here, there's this in the photograph, there's this little, I guess you call it a connector piece. And so I worked on that for a few minutes at the very end. So that's doing that kind of stuff. Let me zoom in a little even more. It is really fun for me, you know. How close can I get it? You can see some detail. Anyways, so that's where we are right now, and you can see the detail in the rail there. You know, it's got a top, it's got edges, it's got that little bit of shadow underneath the top, and then this connection piece that is really fun. So that's where we're at. I hope you enjoyed joining me today. That's all I got for you today. I think it came out pretty nice. I'm happy with things at the moment. And I will see you next Friday. Until my photographs come in, I'll continue working on this, but I'll show you what I did, and we'll go from there. So have a great day. Happy painting, and have a great weekend. Stay safe from the snow and the cold, and we'll see you next week. Bye.